Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. This is a special edition. The reason why is because we're at a special place. We're out here in East Tennessee, and you know what? We happen to have a real moonshiner.
Yay!
And we also have someone who's kind of around moonshiners all the time, and someone that I've had a drink or two of moonshine. So all three together, we're going to come up with a great show. So let's
we're
highly
start qualified.
Yeah, that's right. So Kelly, tell us about you and why we're standing in your place here.
I mean, you're standing here because Linda is our tourism director, and she's my biggest fan, and she brings everybody to see me. So she twisted your arm to do your podcast here.
It did not have to twist very hard.
So I'm here basically because I grew up in Cocke County. My grandparents, actually, my great-grandparents owned this property back when the national park came in and bought up a lot of property in this whole area to put the national park in. And my great-grandparents' home was in what is now the national park.
Wow.
So prior to the highway that's here now, 321, being built in the 40s, this was a huge piece of property outside the park that ran to the road that's behind us. So they bought everything that was outside the national park in this little area. I think there was 200 or 300 acres of it originally.
Wow.
And then through the years, it's gotten sold off, and we've ended up being able to buy back about 6 acres here. So we thought it'd be appropriate to put a distillery here. Actually, I was in a meeting with one of my attorneys one day having a conversation. He said, you know, that'd be a perfect location for a distillery. He said, because I own 100 acres across the road from it, and we're wanting to build a cabin development, so we need somewhere for those people to go.
Hey.
So to also tell them the view. So you do have a view from right here.
Oh yeah, we've got a view of the park. We're right outside. We've got a huge pavilion area, picnic area. We've got a stage. We have music a lot on Saturday nights through the season. We don't want to do anything when it's too cold. But typically end of May through early to mid-October, we have Saturday night bands on the stage. And a lot of those nights we'll have a food truck come and show up to do stuff. The past 2 years, we've had the Petty Family Foundation. They come into town. Richard actually comes into town. We sell a bunch of VIP tickets where you have dinner with Richard, and he hangs out and visits with you. He's even autographed our moonshine still. Right here.
Autographed it.
So Richard, when he's standing here, he's like, hey, you want me to sign your still? And I was like, sure. You know, why not? And I pick him up at the airport when he comes, and we became pretty good friends. So he signed all my vehicles. So I've got a Richard Petty edition pickup truck. I've got a Richard Petty.
There you go.
Everything I own is a Richard Petty edition now.
When you're driving Richard Petty, does he go like, you're kind of going slow, or are you braking? You're not using your turn signal.
He's really patient. We were staying at his house. I actually had went in. We do some different things with them, and I was parked out there with my camper last year actually, and I was coming down his driveway on my bicycle, and he was like, did anybody tell you could ride your bicycle here? And I was like, oh, you did. He said, well, that's all that matters, as long as I did.
So Linda, we're right in are we in the heart of Cocke County right here?
Yeah, we are. We call it the heart.
Well, Cosby is the heartbeat. And
I got you.
We're in the edge of Sevier County. We're about a mile from the county line, so we're not that far from Gatlinburg. We're 20 minutes from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So we get a lot of the people that are coming here that they come into the area, and our number one whitewater rafting river in the country is the Pigeon River, which is just about 10 miles from here. So we get a lot of traffic coming through here going from Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge to the river to do their whitewater rafting trips.
And historically, Cosby was always known as the moonshine capital of the world.
And that's because not from the quantity of moonshine, but from the quality of moonshine. Because it was touted by all the federal agents as being some of the best moonshine that they ever confiscated and drank.
And if you've ever seen the movie Thunder Road, Thunder Road is very close.
Yeah, Rufus Gunner was Did he get killed at 20 in his early 20s? Wasn't it? And the Thunder Road songs, all that's written as a thing about Rufus Gunner, and he grew up right here in Cosby and was killed. allegedly he drowned in the Holston River in Knoxville.
Right.
But his family said that if he did, it's because those 7 bullet holes let him take on water.
Yeah. So you actually fished around here as a kid, did you not?
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, that was one of the things that we did, Fishing was a fun thing, and it was also at least 1 or 2 meals a week. And these small streams that are here that are not even really mapped, that nobody knows about, they're full of native trout.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, when you're a kid and you're doing what you know to do versus what you know not to do, we would, instead of just fly fishing, we fished with red worms and bread and cheese bait and everything else. So it was like my grandparents' house is just up the road from us that when I was growing up was their house. Uh-huh. And there's a stream there just out the road from them, and that was to get me out of their hair. Hey, here's your fishing pole. Go hit the creek.
Right. Cool. So the number of streams are in here. Talk about the water clarity. And these are native trout that a lot of them are native trout.
Yes. The streams are so clear and the water temperature stays fairly consistent year round. It'll vary 10 or 12 degrees, but not a huge amount. And the water is just crystal clear. It's coming right out of the park, out of the springs that gather in the park. So you've got a good stream of water most of the time, even in the real dry periods of time. And it's kind of shocking. Had an experience one time with some folks that were backpacking, and I ran up on them and I said, "Hey, is the spring still working good up on top of the mountain?" There's been over a cliff here. I knew they were coming from where the spring was at. Uh-huh. And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, the water hole, the spring is coming up. There's a water hole out there, but it's coming right out of the ground. I don't know if I drink that water or not.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we've done everything here. So it's always been just a lot of fun, and then watching the growth of the area through the years. Right. I've got a few years on me now. It's getting great.
It looks like it.
Kelly, talk about your Smoky Mountain adventure tours and your campground.
Oh, yeah. Here at the distillery, we've got a few campsites. They're all concrete. Everything's super nice, full hookup. If you want to do something a little different, camping, because of our insurance regulations with the distillery, we don't allow anyone under 21 to spend the night at the campsite. So it's all over 21, and we don't allow any pets at the campsites because of insurance and on everything. But you can stay here at the distillery and then crawl home. We got a big yellow wheelbarrow over here. We'll wheelbarrow you home.
I guess that's what it's for. You're quite concerned I'm not going to do very good if you just park the wheelbarrow next to me. I probably am a lightweight. But this is interesting. Now we'll just get to the part everyone wants to hear anyway. They want to hear about what you brought here, and tell us about each one a little bit. And use this one for last, because this one's special.
You'll save that one. You want to drink that one, aren't you? Well, we've got several flavors. We've got a few more than what we've got here, but everything that we run starts off of our base with our regular still.
Okay.
And this is a pot still just like we've ran, that's been ran in this area forever. And we've been lucky enough to be able to get it where the ABC and all the federal regulations are allowing us to run on a pot still like this, which you don't see anywhere much. And we're firing it with LP gas just like we would if we were out in the woods. So it really comes off authentic. So we've got the first one is our signature recipe, which is JB's 103. JB was Popcorn Sutton's #1 steel man. If you watch any of the movies that Popcorn Sutton did illegally, JB was always with him. So that 103, it's 103 proof. We use white corn, so it's 103 proof white corn liquor. So it's just it's good for sipping or making your own cough medicine or replacing vodka with it, because you can just use it as your mixer. And then with JB, one of the first things that we had done was a honey crisp apple. So we proofed that down a little bit. It's a sour mash, and it's got honey crisp apples and real honey in it. So it's a little proof down from the clear, and it's a little sweeter, but it really goes good as a mixer with some of the other flavors. So, and that's the thing, we try to have our flavors to where if we want to mix them or have some kind of a mixer to make it a cocktail, it's pretty easy to do. So you can take this stuff home and do it yourself.
Right.
And one of my things over the years, I always liked margaritas, but I didn't care much for tequila.
Right.
So I would use moonshine with margaritas. So this come up with our Kelly's Moonarita, margarita, moonshine, Moonarita.
Moonarita.
So you can just drink that pour it over ice. Anything you want to eat with it that's salty is great. Steaks,
right.
Cheetos, Doritos, your neighbor's wife's toes are good if they soak in there. And then we done, because everybody was asking they like bourbon, so a lot of people like the bourbon. So we didn't want to get real complicated, so we took a bunch of JB's 103, put it in barrels.
Right.
And aged it and then started pulling it off. And we made it fairly simple in this one. It's just American charred moonshine.
There you go.
So we didn't go to the trouble of trying to get it through a bourbon thing or anything. But if you want to try something that's a charred moonshine, right there you go.
And that'd be like a nice smooth flavor to it, right?
Yeah, it's going to be real smooth. It's got a little of the char flavor. It's got some of the color. And as you see, these jars are not very dark.
Right.
But they've not been aged all that long, because to get into the bourbons, you've got to age longer.
Right.
And we've got some that's aging that'll get darker as time goes on, but that's a light charred, and we'll have it till we run out of it, and then we'll have a little darker charred.
Right.
And we'll start blending them together to keep everything to be consistent once we get to that point. But that's where we started that at. And then the next one is our friend Killer Bees. He's a comedian.
Right. From
Mississippi, and he's on the show with myself and Mark and Digger some, and we done a flavor with him. He wanted to do ambrosia. Right. I was like, well, that's going to taste like marshmallows. Well, he went off the charts with this flavor, and it's got all kinds of flavors in it. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a little grapefruity. So it's there's some of the people come in and they love it better than anything, and it's a little citrusy. I don't really even know how to describe it other than that. It's just something
it's probably like ambrosia. I make that salad at Christmas, and it's got coconut and pineapple and cherries, and
that was kind of what they were shooting for with it.
This is a liquid diet, so if your relatives are coming, drink this. And then make the salad for them.
Or save that for them, and they'll sleep through the salad. And then I think we've got Patty. Patty was on the show for a while on the Moonshiner show. Her and her dad are from Louisiana, and we done a peach with Patty. So it's Patty's peach flavor. It's a delicious peach, so it really, it's turned out to be fun. It's a great flavor for making different cocktails. We've got a peach slushy right now that we're doing. So the slushies here at the distillery are out of Patty's Peach, and it's really good. Of course, so slushy's based with this JB's 103 too, so we get you liquored up pretty quick.
Yep.
And then on to the next thing it's a recipe from me. We did I did an episode of Master Distiller. And it was a pretty funny episode of Master Distiller, and I decided I would make pineapple upside down cake moonshine.
Right.
And during the episode, I decided I would just hull a pineapple out, let my liquor run straight into it, put a straw in it, and let it run out into the jar.
Right.
So it tasted terrible. Worst liquor I've ever drunk in my life. Digger accused me of soaking it in my socks, dirty socks.
Right.
So that being the challenge that was the worst, we wanted to make something that was really good out of it. So if you come around and drink any of that, you're going to think you're eating a pineapple upside down cake. It tastes like cake.
That's my favorite, and I put it over ice cream.
Oh, see? Dessert. And then the one that you were holding out for, Mark Ramsey from the show, his wife, Sally, she's our general manager here, and she takes care of everything. So early on, we decided that we wanted Sally to have a flavor. Well, Sally was a Fireball lady. She ran around with those little bottles of Fireball all the time.
Yep.
So she wanted something cinnamony that she liked better than Fireball. So it took a while to get her to the point where she was satisfied with that recipe. So this is Sally's love, is the Cinna-Shine.
Right.
And we did it with a Sin-O-Shine. And we've got her in a little hat with her cute little devil ears.
That's pretty cool. I saw this online, actually.
Yes,
oh, yeah?
I saw.
saw some stuff. So tell us, the anglers want to know what's the best flavor to take if they weren't driving the boat. What flavor's the best they should take in their boat and maybe partake with while they're out fishing?
Well, I would always take the one I like the best.
Right. Which one's going to make the fish? Which one of these will make? Is it JB that'll make your fish bigger? And when you get home, you have caught the biggest bass or trout.
Well, just honestly, any of the flavors are going to make the fish bigger.
Right.
And the more you drink, the bigger the fish gets. We all know that.
That's right.
And the more of them you caught. And it doesn't matter that they got away on the way home.
Right.
I mean, you were drinking, you didn't see them leave.
That's right.
You just know you caught them all.
There you go. So that takes us up to Tackle Time. Tackle Time is sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. And, of course, that also takes us. They do not make moonshine. So if you're looking for tackle, go to PICO Lures.
But if you're looking to be tackled, drink
right.
some moonshine.
That's exactly right. So, Linda, if they want to find out more about Cocke County, where would they go?
They can go to Facebook, Adventure Side of the Smokies, and please like us. And then we also have a website, y'all visit thesmokies.com.
There you go. And Kelly, if they want to find out more about your show, about your place here, or the campsites, where would they go?
Our stuff is on Facebook. Obviously, Kelly Williamson Moonshiner. I've got a pretty good following on Facebook, and then all of our businesses have their own Facebook page. But we put everything under one blanket of a website, and you've got it on your shirt there.
There you go, I know.
AdventureSmokies.com. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and we've got some links on there to other places around too. So if you just AdventureSmokies.com, we're going to come up. There'll be a lot of links in there, and believe it or not, that's a pretty catchy little thing, so a lot of people are trying to tag into it.
Right.
So you may go to a website over in the Orient somewhere.
Right. So, Linda, tell us what the distance is from some of the major towns, Knoxville, Nashville.
Gosh. Well, I'd say we're probably 50 miles from Knoxville or Asheville, North Carolina, right in the middle there. Maybe 20 miles to Sevierville, 20 miles to Gatlinburg. So we're so centrally located. We just love our neighbors. So we want to be able to offer them what we call a value add. So please go there and experience everything, but then come here for an authentic experience.
And I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but like Cosby is really coming up with cabin rentals. We've got a huge amount of cabin rentals. There's a KOA campground just up the road. There's other campgrounds between here and Gatlinburg. We're 10 minutes off of I-40, so it's not a problem to get to with your campers and stuff. So there's just so much to do in this area, and we literally border the national park, and the Cosby entrance to the national park has some of the nicest trails to hike out of, with waterfall views as well as mountaintop views. If you're going to the mountaintop view, you want to be a little tougher than the person that's going to walk to the waterfall, though.
That's right.
And you hike all the time, Madron Bald, right?
Oh yeah, I hike pretty much daily. I'm either out, and I bicycle a lot. We've got the highway that's Highway 32 that goes into North Carolina. It doesn't have very much traffic on it, and I'll bicycle that. That gives me about a 20-mile out and back. Right. So it's there's a lot of stuff to do here. You just got to ask the right questions.
And you and I named it the Copperhead.
Did we?
Yeah.
Well, was I drinking or was you?
Oh, no.
Maybe both.
The dragon is very popular, so we named ours the Copperhead.
Oh, there you go. Neither one do you want to mess with.
No,
exactly.
Neither. Yes.
Well, it's more likely you'll see a copperhead here than you will a dragon.
I'm pretty sure of it.
True.
Sure.
Unless you're drinking a lot, then you might see a dragon.
We saw a dragon in the cave up there at the Forbidden Cavern.
Oh yeah.
So they have an outstretch of cavern that basically comes out, but we did see that.
That's another thing that's right here local too, is Forbidden Caverns, and I mean, that's a beautiful place to go. There's so much stuff that's right around here that's so beautiful, and with the fact that the French Broad and the Pigeon River both run through here, and then the Nolichucky, and I think about every time I go by Biltmore that the French Broad is in Biltmore and coming right on to here. It's just amazing how the river snakes through.
Yep. Well, that takes us to the end of the show, I always like to say, keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water, but not this time. This time I'm going to say, make sure you check out some of the moonshine that Kelly has, and make sure you stop by Cocke County because it's truly amazing. Going to let you tell why this area is special. I was going to have Linda do it. I think I'm going to have Kelly do it. Tell us why this area is so special too.
It's because we're still in love with our heritage, but we're also trying to embrace our future. So we're trying to plan for what's coming and what can be, and trying to be acceptable to what we need to do, to see our future be better for our younger generation coming up,
right,
while still embracing the heritage of what was and what has been here and what built what we've got.
Right.
Beautifully said.
There you go. Thank you. And that ends the show. Make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.
And you bottle up.
Bottle up.